Welcome to the Sojourn Wealth Management Podcast. My name is Jeff Bronner, and I'm joined by Corey Akins and Andrew Kraft. And today we're going to be talking about an important psychological idea when it comes to financial planning, and that is delayed gratification. Guys, how are we doing today?
Doing great. Well. Beautiful summer day.
Yeah. It is. And I'm going to wait to go outside and enjoy it so we can get this podcast taken care of.
Nice. That was good.
Good plug.
Yeah.
All right, so let's just start with what might be a familiar term for our listeners, but just to put a definition on it, what is delayed gratification?
Yeah, I would say it's just taking care of the kind of important but maybe not as enjoyable stuff now so that you can then go and enjoy the fun stuff later.
Yeah. Pretty straightforward. Why, when we talk about delayed gratification...
This should be easy for Tennessee fans to understand.
Why, man, I got into a little scuffle this morning with some Georgia fans.
Oh, did you? They bark at you?
Yeah. They get aggressive. No. Kirby Smart's not going to be there forever. We do have a college football preview. Don't say that, Corey. We do have a college football episode coming down the pike. Maybe we delay this discussion until that later episode. So doing the hard stuff now so that you can enjoy the fun stuff later, why is that important?
Well, I think generally, just as a rule of life, that's important because, we make delayed gratification decisions every day. I'm not going to eat that second piece of pie so that I can, experience more pie later, probably, right?
Or not experience the indigestion that might come from that second.
Or I want, to have, I have a goal of, a certain, dietary restriction, and I want to make sure that I meet it, right? So you delay that gratification. So I think as it pertains to financials and delaying gratification, I think the easiest example is probably, all right, I don't buy this expensive item or thing today and put myself in a position that's not as favorable so that later on when I am in a better position, I can do that more in an efficient and optimal way. And so that's kind of how I would relate it to the general idea and more specifically what we do.
Yeah.
I don't want to get too deep, but I think we talked a little bit about debt in a previous episode, but I think that's kind of what you're saying. Like maybe you go buy a really nice car, get yourself in debt. So now you I guess, have instant gratification of driving some nice wheels.
Yeah.
But you have a large portion of your paycheck going to that now. It's kind of tied up, and so you can't do other stuff, later on. Maybe that's...
Yeah, I appreciate you tying it back to the goal kind of setting. It's anytime we have some sort of aspirational purpose of, I want to achieve this goal, there has to be some sort of, the reason that it's a goal, it's not something that's just going to happen.
Yeah.
And so you have to work, and just thinking about this is probably the most commonly discussed goal is some sort of dietary exercise regimen, what have you. And so the question of, do I eat another piece of pie is a very relevant one. And that's
the tough one for me. That's the hardest.
For those of us who don't really like dessert, it's not ordering the chips and queso, the appetizer or something. That's my deal.
Well, I think
chips
too,
and queso sound good.
Yeah, chips and queso.
Maybe we break for lunch after this.
But even in the idea of delaying gratification, there's gratification, right? So like when you work for something and you don't just kind of put yourself in a bad position to have the thing now, you even feel better, one, during the delay, and then also at the end of the gratification when you say, okay, like we worked really hard for this, we did delay and put things off so that we could achieve this. And that's like a rule of life. That's not just kind of financially. Now, I think it's very important financially and has implications that are going to be bigger than, X, Y, or Z. But I think even in that, like you find a lot of joy in delaying it. So
one interesting component to that you're putting your finger on it too is when we talk about kind of the more silly examples, like a second piece of pie, which seems like it seems like a silly example. a piece of pie is good. Like,
yes.
People love pie.
I love
Most
pie.
people love pie. Most people like chips and queso kind of thing. It's not a question of like, hey, don't do the bad thing so that you can have a good thing. It's typically when we're talking about delayed gratification, it's delaying good for better.
Yeah.
And that's a harder
That's a good
thing
juxtaposition.
to do.
Yes. You can
good
do
for
this
better.
good thing, but if you do it later, it's probably going to be better. And in a lot of cases, it certainly will
more
be better.
good.
Yes.
Yeah.
More good.
Yeah.
Gooder.
It's going to get gooder. So it's a really base kind of idea in the sense of, I mentioned the psychological component of it. This is something that we deal with on a very tangible basis, not just in finances, but in every aspect of life. Andrew, you were mentioning a study that you were familiar with that kind of talks about how human beings naturally respond, or what their reaction is to this principle.
Yeah, I think this was back in the 60s in Stanford, and they were studying this topic of delayed gratification, and they would put a marshmallow in front of maybe 5 or 6 year old child and tell them they'd be back in 15 minutes with a second marshmallow if they didn't eat the first one. So they could gobble up the one right then or wait 15 minutes and get 2. And I think the videos show very difficult for those young children to not eat that. They like cover their eyes. They don't look at it. And so it was just an interesting study. And maybe we'll come back to it, but just some interesting insights on those that were able to delay that gratification kind of down the road and benefits that kind of came up for them. So,
and in the study's findings more generally, was that majority of the kids weren't able to delay gratification, or was it kind of a mixed bag?
Yeah, I think it was a mixed bag.
Okay.
I don't recall the exact kind of percentages. I would imagine most were not able to wait, but did just find a lot of positive outcomes on those that could wait later on.
Gotcha. And it's interesting because part of what that study might not be able to account for is, some of those kids might not like marshmallows as much as the others. And so it might be easier in that particular concentrated context to measure, how much was this an exercise of self-control or not. And a lot of times when we're talking to clients, there's different topics, different ideas, different things that have to be navigated when we talk about delayed gratification.
Right.
Different clients have different desires, different tastes, different what have you. And so part of what we do when we're talking to folks is, hey, what you want, that's a great goal, but how do we navigate that most effectively?
Yeah, that's a good point. Not just, hey, maybe they don't like the marshmallow, and this is extrapolating a lot from this, but I remember a guy when I started working on my PhD, he was just very familiar with substance abuse and how a lot of people just have this idea of like, this is it. There is no 15 minutes is not going to come.
Mm-hmm.
Tomorrow won't happen. And so I'm just going to enjoy now. And so there is that, kind of aspect also we need to kind of take into account. But yeah.
Almost a kind of just general outlook of how you view the world and everything that goes into that on a moment by moment basis.
Right.
It's really fascinating when you open up that kind of that conversation and think about that. And that happens a lot with clients. Just an interesting example, when we talk about Social Security, for example.
Oh yeah, that's a good point.
This is something that comes up all the time. Is like, well, Social Security is not going to be there, or any number of kind of different talking points that we might come across, and in how we navigate that in order to construct the most durable financial plan for the client has a lot to do with how they conceptualize those things. And so
yeah, I think that's a great point. A lot of folks will take the lower amount now, even though in the plan it all shows, hey, if you wait, it's better. But if they just simply say, it's not going to be here later, so I'm going to get what I can now.
Yeah.
That's a great point.
And the thing that helps with that is casting vision. Mm-hmm. And so, like, if you don't have vision,
without which people perish.
I don't get that reference, but sure. What's that referencing?
I think it's Book of Proverbs, maybe. I forget where.
Okay. I think that when people have vision cast to this thing that they want or this goal that they want to accomplish or this desire that they have, it's a lot easier to say, okay, even personally for me, like my wife and I, we want to have a place in Charleston, South Carolina, which we're going to tomorrow. Little plug. So,
Corey's itching to get this podcast recorded and get on the road.
So
the Charleston Visitors Bureau will be sending you a
check. So, but like, what comes with that is like, okay, we can't just go out and like buy the dream spot, or like we could buy a place in Charleston now, but it would not be what we want. Right. And so like part of what drives our, desire for that is we're constantly casting vision for it. And so that helps in the delaying of the gratification. We know it will be worth it. And I think that's just kind of generally whatever the financial topic is, Social Security. I want to go golfing 7 days a week in retirement. I want to, provide for my 8 grandkids, X, Y, and Z. Like, I think that is what you have to have vision cast with it. And that will help your future self, because it gives your current self something that, okay, like we are working towards this.
Right. That's really important. I want to come back to that. Andrew, were you able to find that Proverbs reference? It's itching my brain.
29:18.
Okay.
Where there is no vision, the people perish.
I knew that.
Yeah.
You
did. That's why you quoted it.
Yeah, I know. It's good.
But that's super important, Corey, because a lot of times what happens is not a lack of desire for a goal, but a lack of understanding or conceptualization. So a lot of when we have like initial discussions with prospects
and just talking about it,
right? Like actually putting details and developing an idea of what you're wanting to achieve is so pivotal for actually being able to sustain the self-control necessary to achieve that goal.
And a wonderful exercise to do that is, one, meet with your financial advisor, preferably Sojourn Wealth Management financial advisors, but also in your car with your spouse or, whoever, or a close friend or family member, like talk about it and get excited about it and have fun with it and like just idealize what this would look like. I think that's so important for people.
And even if that ends up not being it,
right?
It is such, you can save so much more money when you're saving for something.
Correct.
New car, lake house, Charleston beach house, whatever it is. Hey, we're going to start saving, and then a year, 6 months, 5 years down the road, you pivot and you go to something else. Oh, we're going to get a mountain cabin, or just simply, hey, we want to pay for our kid's wedding. Like now you have the money. And
that's wrapped up into what we talk about when we talk about financial wellness. Is it's about financial independence and freedom and having the liberty to change the goal. But the big thing is, are we actually marching toward a goal to begin with? Go ahead.
I was going to say the first principle of financial wellness is this balance of spending, giving, and saving. Right.
Yeah.
So you kind of have that balance, then you can hit those goals I think you're getting to.
Right. And just thinking about, Andrew, what you had mentioned earlier about substance abuse and juxtaposing that kind of what you were talking about just now, Corey, is the extreme example is, I can't see beyond an hour this day or what have you, so I'm going to seek the immediate. That's kind of the tragedy of substance abuse, and it's a cyclical pattern that people get trapped in. But then you have, for just more like just the everyday average Joe type scenario, where we get caught up in the tyranny of the urgent.
Yes.
Where we have this perception that right now is the most important thing because it's the most present thing, literally. And so a lot of times just taking a step back out of the hectic every day, and everybody's always busy.
Yeah.
Like everybody is. There's always something going on. But taking that moment, like you're saying, to conceptualize what's beyond this immediate car ride or this conversation with your spouse or whatnot is it's a helpful exercise to help frame that.
And if you don't do it, I think you're missing out on a lot of joy, because in our world, financial planning is a totally objective metric. Like I could sit down with you and tell you literally, objectively, all that you should do and cast out the next 30 to 40 years or 10 or 20. But it's not just that. right? Like we say that, but it's not. It's where subjectivity and objectivity kind of have a tension because you're dealing with like emotion and desire, and you have to fit the game plan around those things. And that's why it's so important, because nobody gets excited about just putting away X amount of dollars because, well, just, I got to do this. There's something deeper to that. There's a why behind that. And that's what I think that we do so well, is we help people cast vision for why they're saving that money, or why they're opening that account, or why they're protecting their family this way. And that's what gets me excited.
Yeah. And I think at Sojourn, the way that we try and kind of walk in this profession is beyond just simply, hey, we're going to help manage your money.
Yeah.
We're going to help you do a budget so that you're not, spending more than you earn. But we're going to help you think about the why.
Yes.
Like, what are you saving for? Who are you saving for? When you retire, or even before that, what are some of the things you want to do, accomplish, the organizations and charities you want to support, for example? And so there is kind of this reason, and to help folks steward these resources well, so there's a purpose. And I think that is what, like you were kind of saying, brings that joy, and also just generates the energy to help delay the gratification, because hey, I'm saving, putting money away, kind of again on the financial side, not marshmallows, but putting money away, for the future, for something better than I can enjoy with it now.
Another thing too is that people will delay gratification too long. And so what we help people do is hit the gratification when they get into retirement, right? Because people will typically...
You can do it too much.
Yes. You can delay it too long and never kind of feel that gratification of all your hard work. And so that is also an important kind of back end piece of it that I think is vital too. When you get to that place, spend the money, eat the extra piece of pie.
Ring the bell.
Yeah. Spend the extra money on the Christmas item and enjoy it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard someone say that if you don't, again, to retirees, if you don't go first class and join the country club, then your kids will.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fascinating, that end of the spectrum. We have those conversations more often than people might expect. It's a fascinating topic, and there's much more that we could discuss on this, but maybe we just leave it with this. Listeners,
we didn't talk about the Rule of 72, did we?
Yeah, we didn't.
Thankfully.
If you guys want to learn more about this, talk more about this, think through the goals like Corey had mentioned, we'd be glad to sit down with you and have those conversations. Thank you for listening to this episode of the Sojourn Wealth Management Podcast. This is a friendly reminder that all content in this podcast is intended for educational purposes alone. Nothing in this episode should be treated as tax, legal, or investment advice. We encourage you to consult your financial professional for any of those needs. Securities offered through Kestra Investment Services, LLC, Kestra IS, member FINRA SIPC. Investment advisory services offered through Kestra Advisory Services, LLC, Kestra AS, an affiliate of Kestra IS. Kestra IS or Kestra AS are not affiliated with Sojourn Wealth Management, LLC.